And welcome back to another episode of the Murphy's Law podcast. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me here on the podcast. Wherever you may be joining me from in the world, good night. It may be good morning, it may be good afternoon. Where I'm at, it's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you know, I appreciate you. For those of you that are joining me, I thank you. If you're on the East Coast, it's usually for some people, it's their bedtime. For some people, they just on they're just waking up, and for others it might be in the middle of the day. However, thank you for being here on with me at the Murphy's Law podcast. Of course, you know the very first thing I'm going to ask you to do, my live audience that's joining me on Facebook and on YouTube, I'm going to ask you to share this. And for those of you that listen to your podcast on Spotify and iHeartRadio and all these different platforms, I'm going to ask you to subscribe so you can know what's going on here at the Murphy's Law podcast, where we apply wisdom. I'm ready to talk about tonight's topic. We are still on the topic of love, just a different aspect that we'll be talking about. And I'm excited about it because uh, children are our future. Children are our future. So share it. Tell somebody you're here at the Murphy's Law podcast. And I want to say thank you. If you're here on a Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, thank you. I know that it's a sacrifice. I know that you can be somewhere else. You could be sleeping. You don't have to be here with me. You don't have to listen to the podcast. And I really appreciate it. I genuinely thank you for your support. I feel loved. That shows me that you love me, that you'll give me your presence, your time, your conversation, even. That matters to me. And so, thank you to all the wisdom seekers out there. You all are the best. And I'm telling you, I love you. All right. So, let's get into tonight's topic. We're talking about loving our children. We're still talking about love. Our last episode, you can go and listen to it. All our episodes are uploaded onto whatever platform you listen to your podcast at. So you can go back and listen to any of our episodes. But last week, we began talking about love, talking about what it is, what love isn't. And it was good because everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to experience it. Everybody wants to feel the euphoria that comes with love. But love is more than just a euphoric feeling, and there's much more to it. Boundaries, standards, all of that. So we talked about that last week, and we'll continue to talk about it some more. But tonight we are talking about love in respect or in regards to our children, because we can get so caught up as adults, we can get really caught up into us wanting to be with someone or really valuing our friendships. And for those of us that are parents, and even for those of you that want to become parents, it can be really, really easy to ignore your child, to neglect your child. And so your son, your daughter, your nephew, your niece, they need the proper attention. They need the proper love. They need the proper affirmation. And so just as much as you are in love with or want to love your significant other, just as much as you want to love, you know, whoever, your children are important, and we got to love them properly. We got to love them right, because children, and I know you're going to agree with me on this, you should at least, children are the future. When you think about the future, they're next. The children are next. So the ones that we're raising, the ones that we're developing, They are next. And when their turn arrives, we can't be mad about where they're lacking or where they're not prepared or ready at, because we are responsible. The previous generation, we are the ones responsible for guiding them, for preparing them for the future, their future. It's our responsibility. So the love and security that they need, that's going to help them to become very fruitful and successful individuals and loving people and kind people and driven and all of the other stuff. It's up to us. So we that starts very, very early. What children think, their perceptions, their feelings, their maturity, their development. We're responsible for charting the course, for laying the foundation. Now, when they become of age, we can't control what they do, but we are responsible to lay the foundation. And the Bible says, if we train up a child in the way they should go, when they're old, they won't depart from it. So, your responsibility as a parent, one of the ways you can show that you love your child is to train them up in the way that they should go. And of course, here at the Murphy's Law podcast, we're talking about principles from the Bible, from the Word of God. We believe in Jesus. And so those are the principles that you're going to hear on this podcast always. Those are the principles I live by, that I raise my children by, that I set all the standards for everything I do by. So we're responsible. So let's take responsibility and let's do it. Let's love them. So let's talk about it some more. Good night to everybody joining me. I appreciate you. From Facebook, I have Carmisha and Katrina. Those are my sisters. I appreciate you all. And so I always welcome your comments and questions. And if you ever want to hear a topic discussed, you can email me at let's apply wisdom at gmail.com. That's let's apply wisdom at gmail.com. We talk about everything here, so nothing is off limits. Okay. So good night to Joanna. Good night to Nana. That's my mom. Good night to everybody that's joining. So let's talk about love in regards to our children. Now, I'm going to say some solid things about what love is or love isn't, and then I'll open up how it relates to our children, and we'll go from there. So the first thing I'll say is love keeps no secrets. Love has no secrets. I'm gonna let that one stew for a little bit, because how many times do we see relationships damaged and destroyed because of secrets? How many times have we seen marriages destroyed because of secrets? How many times have we seen friendships destroyed, alliances ruptured because of secrets? So love has no secrets. We're not keeping any secrets. And it applies to our children. One of the worst things you can do is keep secrets from your children. An individual or any person that keeps secrets and hide things from their child or children. I know this is going to sound crazy and it might rock your world, but you don't truly love your child if you keep secrets from them. Now, it's up to us as parents to determine when our child is mature enough or ready to handle certain conversations or information, but we don't keep secrets. If the thought is, I'm going to take this to my grave, me and your dad went through this, or This is what we've dealt with in our family, or this is what I've struggled with. As your dad, I struggle with handling money poorly, or I struggle with pornography, or I struggled with promiscuity or cheating. I couldn't be responsible to your mom or my wife. Hiding that stuff and keeping that stuff secret, that's not going to work. Again, I say it's up to us to use wisdom and discretion unto as to when to have those discussions, but to determine that you're just never going to have it at all, that's not good and that's not love. And so one of the things that secrets will cause in a relationship, it will break trust and it will break security. And many parents don't know this, but let me tell you, many of you have children that don't trust you, and that's bad. That's awful. And the reason they don't trust you is because you keep secrets. We love to, I won't say we, let's not say we. Or should I say we? All right, we all in it together. We're growing together. We're applying wisdom. There's absolutely no judgment here. So let's say we, because we're getting better together. We so many times insult the intelligence and the makeup of our children. And we think because we're the parents, we can lie, keep secrets from other people that your children know about, and then think that they'll trust us or trust you. If you are a person that's hiding things from your child, when your child grows older and they begin to learn things in their teens and possibly in their 20s and going on, I'm telling you, they are going to lose trust for you. You are going to damage the security of your child. And what we see happening as the generations go on from one generation to the next, we have previous generations that are really degrading or condescending to the generation coming up because we didn't give them the right security, we didn't give them the right type of love, but we're criticizing them. So love has no secrets. Talk about it. Things happen, talk about it. You want to create an environment with your child where they can come and talk to you, and where they'll be safe, and they'll know that you believe them. It's a bad thing when a child goes, I'm not going to say anything because my mom's not going to believe me. My dad's not going to believe me. And you'll be surprised how many children hold things, and because they're so young and they're not able to manage these emotions, they only know how to suppress, and it begins to spiral into other areas. Now they can't socialize properly at school. Now they can't form proper friendships and relationships. They may get into abusive relationships, romantic relationships as they get older, all because you were prideful and you wanted to keep a secret because you didn't want your child to know that you cheated on your husband, that you cheated on your wife, that you lost all the money because you were a gambler, that you struggle with homosexuality or lesbianism. Let's let's name some others. What is it? You name it. Whatever the worst thing could be, love keeps no secret. So we are responsible for teaching our children transparency and openness and vulnerability in the right ways. And if you create those things from their young, then you're giving them the right environment to grow healthily. and to have proper relationships moving forward. I'll say it one more time. You must, as a parent, know when to have these conversations, but don't keep them secret. So we have children who grow up and despise their parents. And parents, don't ever think that only because you provide a roof over their head and food to eat that's enough. Well, they should be grateful. Let me ask you, if you were in a relationship and the person lied to you, they were deceptive, they neglected you, but they fed you and they clothed you. Would that be enough for you? Would that be enough for you? Would you say, "Oh, girl, oh my guy, man, bro, like, yeah, she lie and she's deceptive and she hide things, but she could really cook." No, you wouldn't. So why should we do that to our children? So love keeps no secrets. Do not keep secrets from your children. You're putting them in a position to fail. And so if there's a conversation that needs to be had, plan to have the conversation. Pay attention to the maturity of your child, the way they speak, their understanding, their insightfulness. But pay attention to all of that. And as uncomfortable as it may be for you, throw all of that out the window. You got to do this for them. It's a sacrifice. You're sacrificing what you may be fearful of and the shame you might feel or anything else you may go through. All right. So love keeps no secrets. All right. Here's the next thing. This is very important. Uh, just like everything I must say, it's all important. Love is not forceful. Now you might say, well, what does that have to do with loving my child? Love is not forceful. I'm not forceful. Well, I'm glad you asked. I read your thoughts. I'm glad you asked. It's very inappropriate. It's very selfish to raise your child like they were living your childhood. As a parent, man, our childhood is gone. That's over with. What happened, happened, good, bad, in between. Let's learn what we should learn from it. Let's heal. Let's deal with all the traumas and all of that. But to raise our children or to raise your child like they were living your childhood, that's not right. So you are superimposing what was unfulfilling for you, what was a void, what was painful for you, and you are forcing that on your child and raising them that way. They don't have the same mom and dad you had. They don't live in the same era that you live in. You were born in the 80s. They were born in the 2000s. If you were born in the 80s like me, you were born, the cell phone wasn't even invented yet. Or if it was invented, it was the big old heavy ones, the black ones, that if you hit somebody with, you could knock them out. So they are living in a different time. They're not even living under the same circumstances. And some things may be similar, but it's not the same. And guess what? Here's another thing. Your child is not you. They may look like you, they may even act like you, they could even sound like you. Your child is not you. So to force and to try and fix your childhood through raising your child, that's not love at all. That's not love at all. And time again, I'm telling you all, I've seen it. I've seen where parents, they just give their child whatever, or they don't give them certain things based on their childhood, on the parents' childhood, on what they went through. So I didn't have anything, so I'm gonna just give them everything. I didn't get to go to Disney World, so I'm gonna just take them to Disney World, whether they behave well or not, because I didn't go to Disney World and I'm not gonna keep them from Disney World. And then we say we love our children. So, like we talked about in the previous episode, love has boundaries. Love has standards. Love has measures. And it's definitely not forceful. And for those of you that are in, relationships, you got a boyfriend and your girlfriend, you know what you tell them, right? Love me like I need to be loved. And you have every right to say that. Yeah, you do. Love your children like they need to be loved. You can't go back and raise you. You're an adult now. You have responsibilities now. You're at a different time and place now. And what we find is a lot of adults are raising themselves. So my name is Stephane, and my son's name is Caleb, but I'm raising Caleb as if he's Stephane. Love is not forceful. Thank you for tuning into the Murphy's Law podcast, brought to you in partnership with BOJ Clothing. Go check out BOJ Clothing, www.bojclothing.com. Faith-based clothing line, spreading messages of hope and love. Thank you for joining again. The Murphy's Law podcast. You're here with me. We're talking about love and how we love our children. I appreciate all of the comments. I see you. I'm getting some comments here live. Love has no secrets. Andre Coffee said transparency is so vital. Carmisha says love is not forceful. It absolutely is not. It's definitely not forceful. All right. If you don't follow us on Instagram, please do that. Murphy's Law _podcast. And you definitely want to, and I want you to subscribe to the page on YouTube. I'm at 18 subscribers. I celebrate and thank all of you that are subscribers, but subscribe to the page, www.youtube.com/Murphy's Law Podcast, at Murphy's Law Podcast. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook. All right. So here's some final thoughts I want to leave you with. When you are loving your child, it's not about you, it's about them. Love is not selfish. And so you can't raise your child, bring your child up in an environment that's all about you. It must be about what's best for them. And it may be that as a parent, we need to go and get some counseling. We need to go do some therapy. We need to go get some help. We need to do some emotional digging and reforming and letting go of traumas, letting go of pain, letting go of insecurities and fear. We need to go work on ourselves so that we can give our children the shot they deserve, the best chance they deserve for living healthy, fruitful, productive, purpose filled lives. Just because God allowed you to have children, don't mean you should abuse them. Don't neglect your children. Love is very attentive, love is very present. In this age of busyness and trying to secure the bag, which is getting money, and trying to gain wealth, acquire wealth and riches, and you have 9 jobs, 3 jobs. In this age of technology, one of the things I've seen so much is parents allowing technology, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, to raise their child. Netflix, Hulu, Tubi. And if you don't know it, let me share it. That is neglect. And when you neglect anybody, there are certain things that they may feel or deal with: unworthy, not valuable, unimportant. So when your child goes to school and act up and looks for attention, may not be their fault. When your young daughter goes and have sex and get pregnant, may not be her fault. When your young son gets in trouble, rolls around with the wrong group of friends, getting gangs, may not totally be his fault. May not totally be their fault, because they've grown up with Netflix. They've grown up with all the series, all the games, because mommy was too busy, daddy was too busy. They got to get to the job. They got to go here. They got to go to that party. They got to go make that money. So neglecting our children is not the way to go. Don't let anybody else and anything else take your position as a parent. That's not love. What wife wants someone else other than their actual husband to fulfill his duties or his role as a husband? What husband wants another woman to come in and take the role of his wife? What brother wants a sibling to be replaced, wants someone else to replace them or replace their siblings? Ideally, nobody. You're my brother for a reason. You're my sister for a reason. You're my wife, my husband for a reason. That's your child. Don't neglect your child. Don't keep secrets. Don't be forceful. Don't neglect your child. Don't abuse them. We got to love our children properly. They deserve the best. They deserve security. They deserve support. They deserve love. And if their future is going to be better and brighter and fulfilling, you play a great part in that. So let's get back to loving our children like we should. Let's get back to loving our children like we should. Spend more time with them. Talk to them. Ask them questions. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What do you like? What do you don't like? Ask them questions about you. How do you feel when mommy does this? What do you think when dad does this? When I say this, how do you feel when I'm not here? Ask them, talk to them. Love your children. The future of our society, of our world, it becomes brighter And it looks better when families are restored, when the family unit is healthy, when the mom and dad and brother and uncle and aunt and son and husband and wife, when everybody's loving each other, respecting each other, giving the proper honor, giving the proper respect, then we'll see our society go up. But it starts with the families. Our children, they are the future. And you can definitely help make it brighter. To all of my wisdom seekers, you stayed with me late night. You up with me. I so appreciate you and I thank you. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, please do. If you don't follow us on any of our social media pages, please do. We have so much that's happening this season, so much more great conversations to have. We're having a conversation coming up with Just Men. We're going to talk about what it our childhood all the way up to adulthood. You don't want to miss that conversation. Working on having guests, some wonderful guests from all over the United States, different business owners and professionals. This season is going to be great. And we're getting wisdom, we're getting better, and we're growing together. Thank you so much. I can't express to you how much your presence makes me know that I am loved. Your comments makes me know that I am loved. You care about me and you support me. And I really do appreciate it. I want the name of Jesus and the teachings of Jesus to go worldwide because it will help our families. It will help us. It will help our relationships. I want to glorify God. I don't want to be famous. I don't need to be famous. I just want to please Him. And this podcast is all about that. Families matter to God. Children matter. Husbands, spouses matter. Siblings matter. Humanity matters to God. And I want to do my part to help. And that's why we have the Murphy's Law podcast. Let's apply wisdom. That's it. There's no other motive behind it. There's no other reason. And I love doing it. And I thank all my 18 subscribers and viewers. I'm going to give and pour up myself and study and research and talk about things that will help us with everything I have. I will never shortchange you. I will never take it for granted. I will never treat this like it's unimportant because it's not everywhere or because it's not quote unquote popular. I will never, ever do that. That's my promise to you. This is about creating impact and legacy. I want my children to know that I didn't have to be famous to do God's will or to help. I didn't have to get paid a lot of money to do what was for me to do. I want to leave a legacy. And I hope that'll inspire you to do the same in whatever area, arena that you are in. Business, education, music, entertainment, wherever it is. I pray that you have the same motivation that I do. And if we do, there's a lot that will get done. I can't wait to see you next week, same time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Murphy's Law podcast. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. Let's love our children right. We're still talking about love next week. All right. Good night. Enjoy your night. Sleep well. And let's make some changes, okay? Let's do it. We can do it. Thank you, wisdom seekers. I appreciate all of you.